tech savvy. I need to go back to full screen. It's not full screen yet. Okay, I'm trying one more time. I will stop sharing, then I will put the screen sharing again. I hate technology. There we go. We'll get there eventually. Please tell me if you can see the full screen. Yes, perfect. Good morning, everyone. We do apologize for this delay, but we will try to recuperate. I like to say hello to everyone, the representatives of the different institutions, the different countries. Ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for answering the invitation to this meeting. I saw that we were currently 33 connected. So it gives me great pleasure to see you all in this type of configuration and meetings. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. We have during 2024 continued our work, but we were not able to meet. However, this meeting will be the opportunity to hear the different partners to the project in order to see what is the work that has been achieved in 2024. We will also do some projections on the different actions that we are planning for 2025 and for the follow up of CARIBSAN. I would like to say a word of welcome in order to confirm that we are very motivated here in Martinique and very engaged just because we genuinely care. We lost the connection with Madame the speaker. I wish you all, ladies and gentlemen, a great meeting. And now I'll give the microphone to the different speeches of the partners that will take the lead, take the microphone. Thank you. So we will focus on the program of this morning. So we will have the welcome notes and the official speeches. Then we will talk about the guidelines uh, and every pilot of work package will be presenting the CARIBSAN 2 in the different packages, and then we will end with the group photos. So first and foremost, I'd like to call the ambassador, Mr. Francis Etienne, ambassador of France to the Eastern Caribbean states. Could you please take the mic and give your speech? Thank you, Mr. Ambassador. It's my pleasure. So I would like to start um, my speech and talk about the word commitment. That's our golden rule, and we will all be following it. If for ideas I will be focusing my speech on are very productive. So we saw the great work that has been done in the Caribbean islands. The truth is cruel. The declaration of intention and the reports are accumulating. The decisions are taking time. The nature and people are suffering. A solution that respects the environment, giving value to that environment, is very precious. And it is the case with CARIBSAN. It is a about time. Second idea, we know that the first phase, CARIBSAN 1, has been fundamentally innovative and has proven the results. And the chief has saw how to embark the partners. CARIBSAN 2 is the fundamental idea. It's not a minor project. It's a project with a concept that is collective efforts and a target that is of common interest.
En font une priorité dans la grande région Caraïbe. Cette priorité, elle est durable.
By this ambitious project makes it a priority in our Caribbean region, and also it underlines the replicable nature of this project, and this value will be of paramount importance for the follow-up, and you can explain it to the third countries. And this meeting is also an opportunity to congratulate all the stakeholders for their technical qualities and the implementing of these activities. So this is at the heart of the project, and it determines its success. Thank you very much. Thank you, Your Excellency, the Ambassador. So now I will call the Ambassador of France in Cuba, Mr. Laurent Desrosiers, if you're present. So can you hear me well? So, dear General Director, Your Excellency, the Ambassador, Francis, dear friends, queridos cubanos, this is a real pleasure to be here with you for the official launching of the CARIBSAN 2 project, and a European initiative of the Water Office of Martinique, and this is in favor of sustainable development and protection of environment in the Caribbean region, especially in Cuba. As Francis said, water is an essential resource, a valuable resource, but in the Caribbean region, the water treatment remains a major challenge with impacts on population and local biodiversity. This project is funded by the European Community through the Interreg, and we have our partners, France, Cuba, and the INRH, the Water Resource Institute of Cuba, that I agreed, and other Caribbean nations. So CARIBSAN 1 enables to set up a fruitful cooperation with St. Lucia, Cuba, and with the central participation of INRAE for the scientific part, and it enables to gather valuable knowledge for the implementation of constructed wetlands in the three partnered countries. Interreg CARIBSAN 2 so capitalized on this to emphasize and to implement this technology of constructed wetlands that was proven in several French territories. And this project illustrates the spirit of cooperation that we want to promote, and also this is the willingness of our territories to contribute to valuable projects in the Caribbean. So I want to congratulate our partner involved in these initiatives and the involvement in the Cuban authorities, and I take this opportunity to announce that the French embassy to Cuba presented a project about the reduction of the drinkable water losses in order to optimize the groundwater resources. And this project will be focused on the city of Trinidad, and it will be implemented with the Cuban INRH. And so the project CARIBSAN 2 is a concrete example of the benefits of Caribbean and European cooperation. And and the perspective, innovation, and engagement to the common service. So I hope that this initiative will be amplified in the next years in order so that the marine system, so that we can collaborate to the marine system and environment for the years to come. Thank you, Your Excellency, the Ambassador, for these encouraging words. And now I will call Mr. Magnus William, representative of the DUWASCO, so Chief Engineer representing the DUWASCO, um, the DUWASCO.
And the Environmental Health Department have benefited tremendously from our involvement with the CARIBSAN project, including the invaluable collaboration with our peers from St. Lucia, Cuba, Martinique, and metropolitan France. From its inception in September 2021, the project has served as a platform for promotion of and educating on constructed wetland technology specifically adapted for treatment of wastewater in our unique tropical Caribbean environment, building on the experience of our sister islands of the French West Indies. Phase 1 of the project served not only to educate our staff on the principles involved in designing of constructed wetland systems, but sought to provide the foundation for tangible investments on the ground by inclusion of preliminary studies and designs for a pilot constructed wetland system to be constructed in Dominica to meet a most urgent sanitation need. With the successful conclusion of Phase 1 of the CARIBSAN project in December 2023 and the ensuing preparatory activities for Phase 2, we now look forward with eager expectation for the launch of Phase 2, where construction activities will finally commence at identified pilot sites within all three beneficiary countries. DOWASCO remains perpetually committed to its mandate towards providing the population of Dominica not only with reliable potable water, but just as importantly, with sustainable sanitation services. The company also supports Dominica's commitment towards the attainment of Sustainable Development Goal 6, which aims to ensure available and sustainable management of water and sanitation for all. This also aligns well with the government of Dominica's goal of making Dominica the first climate resilient country in the world. DOWASCO considers the use of planted filters as a viable wastewater treatment technique for Dominica, which could facilitate the introduction of new treatment plants and upgrading of existing ones. The CARIBSAN project is an excellent first step for testing this technique and then upscaling and replication. Further, the project will strengthen the capacity of officers to design and maintain wastewater collection and treatment systems, especially those involving planted filters. In that regard, DOWASCO reaffirms its commitment to the CARIBSAN project, and we express our appreciation for the large investment being made by the project donors through the AFD and the Interact program. We also look forward to continued, fruitful, enjoyable, and mutually beneficial collaboration with our fellow beneficiaries and other project partners. Thank you.
Merci Magnus pour ton retour.
For your contribution, I would like to call Madame Leslie Zilda, the Director of WASPO, to join us.
Allow me to apologize, first of all, for the Minister of Education, Sustainable Development, Innovation, Science and Technology, the Honorable Sean Edwards, and also for our line minister, Honorable Stevenson King, Minister for Infrastructure, Ports, Transport, Physical Development and Urban Renewal, because both of them had previous engagements and unfortunately they can't be here with us today. I also like at this time to bring greetings from the chairman of the board of WASCO and the other directors of our board. It is with great honor and privilege that I stand before you today as a delegate for this momentous occasion, which is the launch of phase 2 of the CARIBSAN project in Black Bay View Fort. The government of St. Lucia is highly appreciative for the support of the agencies that have funded the CARIBSAN project, namely the European Union, Agence Française de Développement, which is the AFD, and the water offices of Martinique and Guadeloupe, the ODE. We welcome such opportunities to collaborate with our French neighbors, Martinique and Guadeloupe, who were recently designated member states of the OECS. Congratulations. The Caribbean Cooperation for Wastewater Treatment, inspired by nature, which is CARIBSAN, is a regional project which focuses on the implementation of constructed wetlands, which is an innovative, environmentally friendly, technologically adapted to tropical context for wastewater treatment using the local plant, which is the heliconia. We are, of course, honored to have the opportunity to locally produce this technology, and it not only serves our natural environment and these improvements, but it also fosters international cooperation and strengthens peer-to-peer partnerships in water and sanitation for much required adaptation and mitigation measures. St. Lucia, like many other small island development states, is faced with many challenges within the water and especially the sanitation sector. The treatment of wastewater is therefore of paramount importance, and we will contribute to the long-term economic viability of this country, St. Lucia, and the region as a whole. The rollout of this wastewater treatment site will be the first of its kind in St. Lucia, and of course it is strategically placed within the community of Black Bay View Fort. This initiative is expected to significantly contribute to the sustainable development within the community and in St. Lucia as a whole. We foresee a future with cleaner air, reduced environmental pollution through efficient wastewater treatment, and a beautiful space provided by visuals of a field of birds of paradise flower, which is what the heliconia is commonly known as. The Black Bay site will provide a cutting-edge, environmentally sustainable sewage treatment solution to a maximum of 600 connections in the community. Part 1 of the CARIBSAN project has been successfully completed, and it has achieved many milestones. Phase 2 highlights the construction phase where the constructed wetland technology will be erected. Our pilot site has gone through its required legal and foundational processes, as well as the establishment of an off-site observation plot for the determination of the most suitable variant of the heliconia species to be utilized. This will be further detailed in our country presentation later today in our sessions. WASCO, and by extension the government of St. Lucia, remains committed to addressing the challenges faced in wastewater management in St. Lucia. We are determined to combat these issues to build our readiness and resilience to climate change. The government of St. Lucia extends its gratitude to the CARIBSAN organizing team, multidisciplinary partners, stakeholders, WASCO, project partners, and all those who have contributed successfully thus far. We look forward to the completion of this project, and once again, let me thank you. Muchas gracias. Merci.
Merci Leslie Zilta pour ton intervention. Je vais maintenant demander à nos amis cubains d'ouvrir leur micro et Firmin de bien vouloir prendre la parole.
Muchas gracias y reiterarle los buenos días.
Substituting our colleague Fermín Sarduy, that he wasn't able to be here with us because he had a previous commitment. So, Excellency, Mr. Francis Etienne, ambassadors and representatives of different agencies, distinguished audience. It is an honor to greet you at this inaugural meeting of the second phase of the CARIBSAN project. Your presence here is a testament of the collective commitment and mutual interest in sustainable development and strengthening of the water resources in our region. On behalf of the National Water Resources Institute, I want to express our sincere gratitude for those who contributed to the success of this first phase of the project. The first phase not only met the objectives, but also consolidated an exemplary synergy between the Technological University of La Habana, companies in the water sector, and the National Botanical Garden of Cuba, which made it possible to combine scientific knowledge with practical experience to form a multidisciplinary team that is at the service of the entire Caribbean community. The National Institute of Hydraulic Resources reaffirms its commitment to comply with the scope outlined for the second phase of the CARIBSAN project. Our entire work teams maintains a high expectation to take new knowledge in the successful construction of the treatment system designed for the community of Poboloti in La Habana. We're deeply motivated by the potential positive impact that this project will have. Beyond the pilot site in La Habana, it would also initiate a process of generalizing technology for sanitation solutions where application is possible. And on the other hand, corresponding design, construction, and environment regulations will be adjusted. The National Institute of Hydraulic Resources will also provide national resources and financial in local currency, which will help to complement the contributions received from the international collaboration as a sign of Cuba's commitment and meet the complex international circumstances and the growing pressure of the United States government towards Cuba. Finally, I want to reiterate our gratitude for all the dedication and support I received. The success of CARIBSAN 2 is already underway and will depend on the joint and supportive work that we already know how to do. To all, I wish you a fruitful day of work. Thank you so much.
J'ai l'impression qu'on a perdu l'ODE.
The Water Office, French Water Office, are you here? Gaël is reconnecting, so we will wait a minute So we had an internet interruption. So if you can hear me, it's coming right now. So I apologize for this. So I will share again my PowerPoint. So thank you to the representatives of the IRNH from Cuba for her speech. So if you can hear me, I will suggest, is Marc Dubernay with us? If we can, if he can open the mic. So good morning, Gael. I am with you. Yes. Can you hear me well? Yes, perfect. Thank you. So, Your Excellency, the Ambassador of France to the OECS and the Eastern Caribbean states, Barbados and the OECS, and Your Excellency, the Ambassador of Cuba, representative of the WASCO, of INRH, the presidents of the Water Office of Martinique, the director of the Joint Secretariat of Interreg-Caribbean, uh, the director of the ODE, ladies and gentlemen, the representative of institutions and partners, dear colleagues, it's with great pleasure that I will speak today for the launching of phase 2 of the CARIBSAN project. This is an initiative illustrating perfectly what regional cooperation can produce for our Caribbean territories. Since the onset, the French Development Agency has believed in this project. We've supported the phase 1, which enabled to study, to experiment, and to lay the foundations of an innovating solution and sustainable solution for wastewater treatment, constructed wetlands. So today with this phase 2, we are right in the action. So the AFD finances the concrete implementation. And CARIBSAN is an exemplary project. This is first a model of sanitation inspired by nature. It's inspired from the successes observed in the French Antilles, and the water treatment use local plants like Heliconia, so known under the bird of paradise. And these are ecological solutions. So thanks to the funding of Interreg Caribbean, we strengthen our sets and our capacity so that this technology can be adapted and replicated at a greater scale. And these are pilot sites that will be created in St. Lucia, Cuba, and Dominica, with a clear objective to demonstrate that this is a reliable approach. And so I thank for this the ODE Martinique, which plays a central role in these dynamics, and the work made by Gaël Elia, the project leader, and all of the teams. And I would like to underline the involvement of our Caribbean partners in front of the challenges of sanitation and preservation of our water resources. They're searching for adapted solutions, adapted to their context, and they have an exemplary goodwill for this project. Their mobilization is a strong signal. CARIBSAN is more than a project. It's a collective movement for sustainable development and resilience of these territories. So this is for an innovating sanitation model adapted to the realities of the Caribbean. So thank you to all for your involvement and your trust. Thank you, Mr. Duvernay, for your commitment. So I will we will now listen to the INRAE speech, Mr. Pascal Boita. Pascal Boita, just before taking the word, I would like to have the feedback from the English speakers. Is this problem solved? Are all the problems solved? So the English speakers, Can you tell if you've heard Mr. Dubernay's speech? Yes, absolutely, yes. Christian Bourgeois, the embassy, yes, very well. Okay, Mr. Boitard, you have the floor. So, good morning. INRAE, the National Institute of Research for Agriculture, Food and Environment, places a very high value on the impact of its activity in its INRAE 2030 strategy. We work particularly hard to create the conditions for our research to be transformed into solutions for society, whether for farmers, socio-economic players, or very often, as is the case in the field of water and the environment, for public decision makers. But we also take great care to ensure that these transfers to operational players feed back into our research and advance our knowledge so that in this particularly virtuous circle, they can continue to nurture the transfers of tomorrow. The work carried out by our reversal research unit in Lyon in adapting constructed wetland systems to a tropical context such as the Caribbean is a perfect illustration of this. The technique of using planted filters, so constructed wetlands to treat raw urban wastewaters, was first developed in Lyon in France by this research team in the 1990s. Over the past 30 years or so, this technique has undergone enormous development in France and abroad. It has also been greatly improved and diversified, acquiring the capacity to respond to increasing diverse challenges and contexts. These improvements have been made possible by our constant links with operational players. These include public authorities, which are the contracting authorities, design offices, which design the installations, and companies which build them. But this research also responds to another strategic dimension of INRAE, that of societal and environmental responsibility, by developing solutions for monitoring these installations based on solutions that in French are known as low tech. Today, with this new phase of the CARIBSAN project, we're going to be able, together with the project partners and the Martinique Water Office, whom I would like to thank, to make further progress in adapting these techniques to the Caribbean context. This progress will not only concern the physical dimension, in particular the climate, but will also take better account of the human dimension, in particular through the direct integration of urban planning, but also the capacity to take into account the choices of the inhabitants, who are, of course, the users of these installations, but who also live alongside them on their territory. Through this new phase of the project, we will also, I'm sure, together create the conditions for the development and appropriation of these techniques in a much wider part of the Caribbean. I would like to conclude by wishing this new phase of the CARIBSAN project every success for the greater benefit of the populations, the aquatic environments of these magnificent Caribbean territories and their exceptional biodiversity, and also for the advancement of scientific knowledge. I would like to underline this last point. Many people thought that the contribution of science to society needed no further demonstration. Unfortunately, current events in our world show us on an almost daily basis that nothing can be taken for granted. More than ever, science needs support like that shown by all the partners. So thank you for your attention. Thank you, Mr. Boitard, and thank you for these words about support to science. I think this is shared by everyone here. So now I will ask the representative of the Interreg Secretariat if someone wants to present, wants to take the floor for the for Interreg. I didn't have any feedback. Maybe there's nobody. Okay, very well. If nobody wants, Mrs. Adin, I will give you the floor. So Very well. So greetings again to everybody. And now maybe I will be less enthusiastic, but attract your attention on some of the key factors, the essential factors for the success of this second phase. The Water Office since 2021 has played a role of project leader on this CARIBSAN project, and our function consisted in defining a certain number of objectives for the project, but also to raise the funds and to make the follow-up of financial reportings, and more generally to the general coordination of the project. And we succeeded in federating all the partners. We are signatories of all the conventions, all the agreements around this project. There are 20 agreements that we name conventions, and especially the Interreg ODE convention, the ODE AFD convention, and ODE Martinique and ODE Guadeloupe, so which are the main, the three main uh, funding agencies. So for the phase one, the objectives were reached, and it will be detailed later in a more technical project. But I would like to underline the difficulties that we have overcome, but that are still present, and that we will apprehend for this second phase. So I would like to talk about the problem of transport that we have in the Caribbean. We are very close to each other, but we have a certain number of difficulties because of the transport connections that are not really not always easy and not sustainable in terms of environmental responsibility. We are attached to science and environment, and this is a problem. We also were submitted to very expensive flight tickets, and so we always see an increase of the price of plane tickets. But we need to meet, and we will need to go on the ground to make a follow-up of the building of these plants, of these wastewater treatment plants. And as Mr. Boita said, the geopolitical context that we are all following, the global context, won't facilitate our task on its second phase. So we have to find solutions, and we have always began to think about it, and we will have choices to make in terms of the place of our meetings. And the second point that I wanted to talk about is the technical and administrative difficulties, not linked to the CARIBSAN project, but linked to the requirements of the expense reporting to the Interreg authorities. So we were able to do all this reporting. So we managed to adapt ourselves. And for CARIBSAN 2, we have anticipated this, and we will have a task officer in charge 100% dedicated to this task, so that the things are more fluid for the expense reporting. And so we will also call to your rigor, you, the partners, so you will have to be strict about your expenses. And finally, I would like to draw your attention. I think there's no representatives of the Interreg authorities this morning, but I want to draw your attention about the finance question. This is the most important. Without money, we cannot do anything. So the CARIBSAN 1 didn't have any financial problems because the funding, the financing plan has been met, has been done. But the Martinique Water Office had to take over a certain number of expenses on its own treasury, and we haven't been given the refund. So we have more than 1 million euros to be refunded. So it's not an alarm, but it's just a warning. And I think this is my role and my responsibility to inform you, dear partners, of these elements, which are facts and which are required to be vigilant. So I am sure we will uh, be able to count on your rigor, and also you should be flexible in the relationship that we will, and in the reports that we will have on the second phase of building of the plants, because this project is legally, technically, and financially complex. But the complexity, we're not afraid of this complexity, and we will go forward with motivation and commitment. So I won't be longer. So I will thank all the partners who trust us and who will continue to trust it for the second phase. Thank you.
J'appelle maintenant Madame Amireille Jomy, la présidente déléguée de l'Office de l'eau Guadeloupe, à ouvrir son micro.
Madame Amireille Jomy, Deputy President of the Guadeloupe Water Office. Good morning, everyone. Can you hear me? Yes, loud and clear. Thank you so much. Dear President of the Martinique Water Office, Mr. Salibert, ambassadors, ladies and gentlemen, representatives of OASCO, DOWASCO, and INRH, ladies and gentlemen, representative of financiers and scientific institutions, ladies and gentlemen in their rank and capacity. I'm pleased to join you today for this video conference launching the CARIBSAN 2. The adventure began with the establishment of the CARIBSAN working group around 4 years ago. Since then, our mission and commitment have remained the same: to promote wastewater treatment using planted filters among our communities. Indeed, a significant portion of Guadeloupe population live in close proximity to the coastline, where particularly fragile marine ecosystem, mangroves, and sensitive areas such as swimming are located. Wastewater treatment, which is often inadequate, causes nuisance and pollutants discharges that can be dangerous for both human health and ecosystems. In 2015, with the Attentive project, which brought together for the first time a consortium made of water offices of the Martinique and Guadeloupe in Rai, French Office of Biodiversity, the company Cortram, and the Intercommunal Syndicate of Central and Southern Martinique, our objective was to validate the sizing of planted filter sanitation systems adapted to the tropical context. To this end, a pilot plant was set up in Les Mangles in Petit Canal in the territory of the Northern Grande Terre urban community and treats the wastewater from a school. This successful experiment proving that this technology is well suited to the tropical and Caribbean geographical and socioeconomic context because it's less costly in terms of infrastructure and maintenance using eco-responsible technology, using local material, and it's resilient to natural risk, shows that Guadeloupe can move towards greater sobriety in the treatment of wastewater and can move closer to sustainable economy. Today, other stations with planted filters have been built, including the new station Vieux-Fort with 600 population equivalents and 4 rehabilitation of stations with 100 P in Guéry and Château-Gaillard-Moule, 65 in Peloton, Port-Louis, and 400 inhabitant in Doblières in Marie-Galante, some of which are built with financial support from the Guadeloupe Water Office. It's with a great pleasure that the Guadeloupe Water Office is participating in the dissemination of this technology of filters planted with plants by supporting the operation of CARIBSAN, always under the impetus of dynamic Martinique Water Office and with the support of the financial and technical partners of our Caribbean neighbors, Cuba, Dominica, and St. Lucia. The Guadeloupe Water Office, once again asked for financing for CARIBSAN, is present and doubling its financial participation in CARIBSAN 2 project. The CARIBSAN approach represents a wonderful challenge for international cooperation in which we are proud to participate. Thank you for your attention, and I will now leave our partners to continue their presentation. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Madam the President. I will suggest Mr. Saliba to close the session. Madam Isabelle Amiradjomi, Deputy President of ODE Guadeloupe, Mr. Francis Etienne, Ambassador of France to the Eastern Caribbean States, Barbados, and the Organization of Caribbean States, Mr. Laurent Burin-Desrosiers, French Ambassador to Cuba, Mr. Magnus Williams, Chief Engineer represented the Director of the WESCO in Dominica, Madame Leslie Zilta, General Manager of WESCO in St. Lucia, the representative of Mr. Fermin Sardi Quintaya, Altaris Pineto Padilla, the Director of INRH in Cuba, Mr. Ignatius Jean, Director of CAWASA, Caribbean Water Professionals Association, Mr. Marc Dubernay, Atlantic Regional Director of AFD, Mr. Pascal Boistard, President of the Lyon-Grenoble-Auvergne Rhône-Alpes Centre of INRAE, my dear Michael Aden, Director General of ODE Martinique, dear Gaël Elia, Project Manager, ladies and gentlemen, representatives of partners and institutions, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, buenos dias. Let me begin, first and foremost, by welcoming you to this meeting dedicated to the launch of CARIBSAN 2. I am delighted to see you all again, as our last meeting in this format was back in November 2023. Thank you for your warm and numerous presence by video conference and in 3 different languages. As you know well, and some of you have previously mentioned, sanitation is the primary source of pollution of our aquatic environment. Wastewater treatment technology using planted filters is a nature-inspired solution particularly suited to our climates. It was tested in Martinique and Guadeloupe several years ago through the Attentive project. This ecological sanitation method addresses the health challenges of our populations, environmental protection, and climate issues that are already a reality in all of our territories. The CARIBSAN Cooperation Project aims to develop this technology in our countries by joining forces to combat the ravages of this pollution. It is in this spirit of solidarity among Caribbean brothers that is thought through this initiative. I'm pleased to know that you are all here, as your respective speeches have demonstrated. No fewer than 5 countries, supported by a team of more than 30 technicians, have been contributing to the progress of this wonderful project for over 3 years. The phase 1 has started in September 2021 of the project CARIBSAN. In September 2021 and ended on the 31st of December 2023 with a lot of accomplishments. More than 200 professionals have been trained in this technology in our countries. 3 host sites have been selected for future wastewater treatment plants in Dominican Republic, St. Lucia, and Cuba. I had the opportunity to personally visit the Cuban site during a mission in May 2022. I commend the commitment of local public decision makers who facilitated this land search. We were able to launch awareness activities in the territories, and we all promoted CARIBSAN in the Caribbean and elsewhere in the world. Thank you to everyone who participated in this promotion. At the same time, research and development work in botany has been initiated with the scientific support of INRAE in collaboration with the countries. Furthermore, I'd like to emphasize that CARIBSAN is supported and promoted by the political authorities of 5 Caribbean states and territories involved: Cuba, Dominica, St. Lucia, Guadeloupe, and Martinique. Without this strong political support, actions in the territories would never be possible. We thank them for this. I confirm that President Serge Letchimy, Chairman of the Executive Council of the Territorial Collectivity of Martinique, stands with us in support of this project, which is part of an ongoing commitment to fostering exchanges and cooperation with our Caribbean brothers. As proof, Martinique just signed in last February in Barbados its entry into CARICOM as an associate member. We are definitely moving forward. On the 13th of June 2023, the high-level international CARIBSAN 1 conference brought together 14 Caribbean countries and territories in Martinique with over 150 participants. The goal was to report on the various projects underway and promote this technology. And finally, on November 28, 2023, a closing meeting of phase 1 of the project brought together partners, and funders via video conference for an assessment of the situation. Today, the Martinique Water Office, in its capacity as a leader, is continuing the CARIBSAN project with its partners and has embarked on its second phase with the same motivation and energy. For CARIBSAN 2, the main objective is the construction of 3 planted filter stations in the 3 beneficiary countries, namely Cuba, St. Lucia, and Dominica. As you all have understood, this objective is ambitious and will be accompanied by numerous associated works. Achieving the objective requires the sustained commitment of partners, the facilitation of administrative processes, and the fluidity of financial flows. We are aiming for a closing by the end of 2026. Dear partners, I know I can count on you. Since the beginning of 2024, ODE Martinique has undertaken a number of actions to prepare for the implementation of CARIBSAN 2. Likewise, INRAE, ODE Guadeloupe, AFD, and the countries have all continued work to prepare for the second phase. This work is administrative, legal, financial, and technical. Thank you all. Madame Gabrielle, CARIBSAN Project Manager, will shortly give you a detailed presentation of the action that took place in 2024 and 2025. She will also outline the schedule for the upcoming months. Finally, I hope I convinced you or I gave you the situation on the territory. Approximately 70% of the population in the Caribbean region lacks access to safe sanitation and adequate wastewater treatment services. It is estimated that 63% of wastewater is released into the environment untreated. Unfortunately, our Caribbean Sea is the primary receptacle for this man-made pollution. Access to drinking water is a universal right recognized by the UN through Sustainable Development Goal number 6. The Martinique Water Office, which I chair, is the leader of CARIBSAN. With our financial partners, we will continue to work alongside you to facilitate this cooperation and reach our targets and our goals. We are all a team and we will win together. I would like to thank our financial partners, Interreg Carib Office, managed by Guadeloupe, on whom we are counting a lot. The Water Office of Guadeloupe, without these funds, the scope of our project would never be possible. And finally, allow me to thank the technical teams from St. Lucia, Cuba, Dominica, Guadeloupe, the technical and scientific teams from INRAE who are always on our side, the technical teams and the director of CAWASA who is always on our side. I salute you and I thank you. And I salute the director, Michaela Aden. I'd like to thank all the public decision makers in our territories for their invaluable support, and I declare the official launch of the CARIBSAN 2 project everyone. So now I will share my screen. I had a virtual ribbon that we were supposed to cut. Apparently it didn't work. There we go. And we cut the ribbon. Here we are. Congratulations. Thank you, Mr. President. And now I will continue the presentation. And I'd like to tell you that every presentation will be followed by a Q&R session because this meeting should be interactive. So I am Gaëlle Villar, and I am the head of the project CARIBSAN in the Martinique, and I would like to describe you the guide in a few points the project. Can you see my screen? Sorry, I need to share it again. So, of course, you understand that I'm not tech savvy. I will share my screen now. I hope you can see it. Can you see my screen? Very well. Let's start. So I will go back on some evidence, but since everyone is here, I'd like to remind you of all the advantages that the of these stations these are um, filtering that are resistant for the climate change, and we call them modularity because we can add different fields, different treatments based on the needs. Uh, and it's a very simple operation. It's a tech it's a very economical operation as well. And of course, what you would be interested in is it's very efficient because we can remove the high pollution up to 95%. And the aesthetical aspect is something that is highly important that we want to highlight because when we reach the station, you can see we reach a land with flowers, and these are very humid zones, very artificial, um, that allows a great social accessibility because the landscaping is amazing. I will not spend a lot of time on the technical side, but I'd like to invite you to see what the studies that we have done in CARIBSAN 1, the technology of the planted filter station. You need to know that, of course, you are all specialists in CARIBSAN. There's a very important information. It's not aeration. It's not the plant that absorbs the pollution, but it's the plant has the mechanical drone at its roots in order to avoid every activity of digesting the pollution that happens at the level of the sand, and this is where the treatment is done. So you can go and check this movie on CARIBSAN. CARIBSAN, the director has said it as well, is a complex project because it is on different territories. I put the logos of our investors. We are in three different languages. Um, we are 30 up or to 40 engineer, technician, administrator. Half is women, and it's very important to highlight the role of women in this project. It's a very equitable project, and in terms of financial partners, we have the AFD and the Water Office of Guadeloupe, partners of INRAE, who bring all the scientific and technical support and the different operators, Adiwesco, Wesco, without forgetting the Kawaza, and a new kid on the block who is the Botanical Conservatoire of Martinique. Sorry for not being here, but we will explain later the role that this partner plays in this project. So, this slide is to showcase the complexity of this project, whether on the administrative side or the market side, the different management tools. I'm not going to go into the details, but I'd like to show you that the technical side is supported by an administrative construction of high level. CARIBSAN and success stories. I'd like to remind you that we started this project during COVID. The cooperation during COVID was a bit delicate, but we were able to overcome the difficulties. We worked, through the web, and then we have 200 Caribbean professionals trained. Some trainings were done on the water assalination project, whether virtually or in person. 200 people. It's a great target.
Cette période, nous avons pu sélectionner aussi les futurs sites de construction des stations de filtres plantés.
We're able to select the future style of building of the constructed wetlands, and we selected the ideal sites for these pilot these pilot plants. And then we worked on the preliminary studies and designs for the preliminary construction designs. So there were also missions. 7 missions were organized. So I include everyone. So the Cuban went to Martinique, the St. Lucians went to Cuba, the Martinicans went to Dominica. So the 4 countries received some missions of CARIBSAN 1, and another point of CARIBSAN 1 is the multi-criteria method. This is a decision-making tool enabling the public policies to rely on them to make adapted decision in terms of sanitation of their territories. And so we also have a high-level international closing conference in June 2024, where we had 14 countries represented. We had very high-level representatives. We had the Secretary of State, French Secretary of State for Ecology, and this was a success. And I wanted to recognize the Cuban students who also made presentations, and they suggested a project linked to constructed wetlands. So they are future Cuban engineers specializing on this technique, and it was a real success thanks to the Professor Luis that whom I recognize. There was also the promotion of CARIBSAN abroad, and this project went out of the Caribbean to be promoted elsewhere in the Water Forum in Dakar, in the Faroe Islands, where the International Water and Island Conference was held, and also the Bahamas, in New York too, at the Water Global Conference at the United Nations. So I was proud to present the CARIBSAN project there. And there is a life of CARIBSAN in terms of promotion abroad. And in terms of communication, we have a website which is suspended at the moment, but which was very rich with a lot of videos, explanation in 3 languages, and technical documentation. And so people who are interested in constructed wetlands in tropical countries could find some good information and a lot of information about this. And CARIBSAN also talked about the technical approach, but this is also a human encounter. You can see all the team here. So the present people, you can see them on the photos. This is a committed team. This is also the highlight, the important point of this first phase. The colleagues have a very high level of technicity, and it's very valuable as an engineer to work with people of high level and a genuine desire to cooperate and this Caribbean solidarity that we could see in this project. So I will show you a few photographs. So we are on this is the visit of one of the sites in Cuba, so with Amory. So we've visited potential sites. So the photo that I show was one of the potential sites. That's not the site that was chosen, but it's in Polo Goti in the Havana. And here you can see the official signing of the protocols, the agreements in the Havana. You can see the representatives of each institution. And you have photographs on the trainings that were made in June 2022. There was a training in English, and you can see my colleague Lucas Pelus, who brought the participants on the ground because these trainings are very operational and not theoretic. So the same training happened in May 2023 with the Cubans. CARIBSAN is also a budget. So for the first phase, we were at 2.488 million euros, and this was covered by Interreg and the AFD. And for phase two, the budget is around 8 million euros. And Interreg is one of the main funding agency, but the AFD increased their contribution to almost 40%, with the possibility to finance expenses that were not eligible to Interreg. So it was good to have a co-founder to finance this project. And also the water and the water offices of Martinique and Guadeloupe, and also there were counterparties in kind from the INRH, INRAE, Kawasco, and WASCO. So the objectives of CARIBSAN 2 is the construction of 3 constructed wetland plans, and to continue to develop training and to convey this technology in terms of building and maintenance of these wastewater treatment plant. And so the aim is also to work on the environmental impact and the way we manage the treatment plant, and also to raise public awareness on sanitation issues. This is also a common interest that we have, to sensitize about the problems of sanitation. Also to promote the CARIBSAN project at in several scales. And also we want to work on a botanical guide dedicated to wastewater treatment in order to test other plants, as Heliconia, the bird of paradise. We have this plant at the moment, we use this plant, but other plants are also possible. So what we already did, even if the year 2024 seemed an empty year, but for me it wasn't an empty year. I was mobilized on CARIBSAN 2 a lot, so that's the hidden part of the iceberg. And so in phase 1, in 2024, we had a huge work of dialogue with Interreg to to file the project on the Synergy platform, and there was a job of recruitment as an engineer on the CARIBSAN works, and also we had to reformat the project so that it should be more operational and so that it correspond more to the expectations of everyone. So there was a dialogue with you, the partners, about the mode of governance, the nature of the work packages, and all this management dialogue. So everything was done, and we have submitted these to Interreg, and we obtained the subsidy. So at the moment, the grant. So at the moment, we are in the phase of financial preparation with AFD. So we are also sending you requests for the different files, and so we're working on this AFD financing, and we tried to raise other funds, the FFEM, and the Guadeloupe Water Office, which has deliberated on its dotation, its allocation of funds. And we also communicated with the project partners on the different steps. So we had several meetings about that. We also did two missions, one in Dominica and one in St. Lucia, and one about financial evaluation, financial assessment with the AFD, with Clara Dufresne of AFD, and we are continuing to work on every administrative aspects, so the agreements, drafting of agreements, etc. And this new, we had to find the new partner, a partnership with the Botanical Conservatory, the French Botanical Conservatory. So we continued to work on the botanical research protocol and the multi-criteria method, and also on collaboration with the Lyon School, the Urban Planning School of Lyon in France. And the partner countries continued their work on the requests of authorization for construction of pilot sites. So I think you have your different committees, and each with its own their own processes, and also the launch of environmental and social impact studies, social assessment, and also the working group. So about the CARIBSAN work plan, there is a work package on the administrative management, a work package of everything which is financial and technical. The work package, so work package 3, training and awareness, work package 4 about communication, and the last one about the wetland construction. So I will end by presenting very quickly the governance modes which will regulate the management of the project. So this is the general plan. So we will organize a conference of the CARIBSAN stakeholders, the CARIBSAN actors, in order to conduct the project animated by Martinique ODE. And we will have some smaller project steering committees in order to approve the different suggestion proposal of the technical committee. I will steer the technical committee of CARIBSAN, so with the works engineer and the communication chief, and each work package will have a working group. So each work package will have to steer its own governance and to organize its meeting regularly with the feedback of the different levels. And then the annual technical forum, so the last one was in Martinique. This is a meeting place of all the CARIBSAN teams, so once a year, to see the weaknesses and the difficulties. So this is a technical meeting place, and we hope to be able to plan the next technical forum in St. Lucia if our friends from St. Lucia want to receive, are willing to receive us there to host this meeting. In terms of visa, it will be easier. So the chronogram of this, so begin of January 2025. So before that, it was very administrative. So on the 1st of April, this is the official launch of the project, and then during 2025, it will be all the administrative aspects. We will sign the agreements, and my colleague will present the works. We hope to be able to organize a conference, the stakeholders conference, in 2025, and in 2026. 2026 will be the operational year for all the works, but we will continue with the other work packages as well, communication, etc. So all along 2025, 2026, we will pursue all these activities, and we hope to have in 2027 a stakeholders conference. So in June 2027, we hope to be able to close this project. So I will stop the screen sharing. Are there any questions, any comments? I hope I was clear enough. So thanks a lot for your attention. So thank you, President. So can we raise our hand with this platform? Yes, yes, we can see it. So do not hesitate if you have some questions about the structure of this project, the funding, or the governance, but we will talk about the work packages in detail just after this. So if you have any questions to me, so that's the right time to ask them. So if there are no questions, we will pursue. I will go back to the PowerPoint, and I will ask my colleague, Laurent René Corail, to open his mic and to take the floor, please. Laurent? Laurent? So good morning. So I am Laurent René Corail, the CARIBSAN works engineer, and I will talk to you about the update of the work package number 5. The work package number 5 concerns the finalization of the studies. So do you pass the slides, please? Could you move the slides? So the work package 5 is about the finalization of the studies and the works execution. So the objective is to build 3 constructed wetlands. So one of 200 population equivalent in La Plaine district in Dominica, one of 600 population equivalent in Black Bay district in St. Lucia, and one of 2,000 population equivalent in the Pogolotti district in Cuba. And the total amount of works is 2 million euros financed by the French Agency of Development, Agence Française de Développement. So on this project, the WASCO, ENRH are the contracting authorities, and they define their needs. And the ODE Martinique is at their side as project owner's assistant. So they ensure they monitor the studies and works.
Au niveau des études et des travaux, donc les prochaines étapes, les étapes à suivre. Donc, la première étape donc, est la réalisation d'une étude d'impact environnemental et social. Donc, cette étape, elle est obligatoire. Donc, pour Sainte-Lucie, la Dominique.
Impact study has been done. The market in the Dominican is being notified, and there is a special procedure. So during the realization of this environmental and social environments, they will be able to start the consultation phase in order to retain the water. And the first step of this tendering procedure is related to expression of the interest. The type documentation are the drafting, and they are finalizing the draft, and they will obtain a so at this level we analyze the different candidates, and there is a list of the retained candidate with to who they transmitted the request of proposal for each candidate. It is also a type of document of the administrative and technical document. It is also being finalized and will be the object of a non-objection letter before launching the offer. After the phase of after the launchment phase and the non-objection letter, we will go to the notification phase, and once it will be retained, it will be able to finalize the different studies and to draft the exchange and the specification of the execution of work. After the call for tenders for works, the analysis of offers and notification of the work contract will start. They will prepare and they will start the execution from the execution till the end. I have also retained some non-objection letter. In reality, there are many non-objection letters. So before the tendering and after the different moment of the drafting of the decision, this slide will present the different consulting services and contract from the launching of the offer letter, the consultation, and you can see that everything is well explained, and I have highlighted the different links in order for you to professionally access these documents. So the planning to finalize the execution of the different work in May 2025, we will be able to finalize the studies and the work, but the matter will also be able to launch the tendering process. Notification will happen in July 2025, and the end of studies will happen between October and November 2025, and the call for tender is in December in 2025. So in the first year, in first trimester of 2026, in February 2026, the execution will start between April and October 2026. We hope in order to receive the new fields in December 2026. I thank you for your attention. If you have questions, do not hesitate to let me know. Can you hear me? Yes, thank you so much, Laurent. What I would suggest is maybe to take the questions after all the presentation. So I would like to continue now for the site of Black Bay View. Shaban will do the presentation. Can Waspo take the microphone, please?
Oui, on t'entend, Shervon. Vas-y, je vais faire défiler le diaporama.
Go ahead. I will put the slides.
She said hola.
No, I say hola, yeah. I say hola. Ah, ça a coupé? Alors, moi, j'entends rien. Est-ce que c'est un problème de traduction?
Translation on. Yes, but no one is talking. So you need to start, Shaban.
Placid. I'm the technician for wastewater in St.
Voilà.
Lucia. The water and sewage company Wasco St. Lucia is committed to providing quality and excellence in water and wastewater services. CARIBSAN, partnered with Wasco and some other local actors, aims to address and improve the inadequate method of wastewater treatment at Black Bay to improve the quality of effluent discharged into the local river. Some of these local partners include CAWASA, Water and Resource Management, National Utilities Regulatory Commission, Ministry, Department of Environmental Health, Department of Agriculture, and the DCA. Next one.
Next slide.
Next slide. So we have an overview of where Black Bay is located in St. Lucia, and as you can see, it's to the south of the island. Some of you already know that from previous presentations. Next one.
Next.
On the Black Bay site, we have approximately 600 inhabitants, which we want to get on that system. And currently the wastewater is collected through a dual septic tank system, and the effluent is discharged directly into the Black Bay River. Wasco continues to explore various approaches and technologies for effective wastewater management, focusing on the installation of decentralized systems for environmental sustainability. So that picture is a picture of the current system in Black Bay. We could see the two tanks there with the covers. And the next one is, you could see the effluent going into the river. Next slide. So you see the color of the effluent there. So it's not really treated to the standard that we would like. Next one. So a survey in Black Bay from 2021 to 2023. We have a table here representing the inlet concentration, representing 19th percentile of all the inlet values to guarantee treatment efficiency, calculated based on the production of water per capita and the number of people that will be connected to the treatment plant, for daily water consumption of 230 liters per day per capita. So you see the table below, the table. It's a little bit small, but that's the values they got. So coming out of CARIBSAN phase 1, we did some preliminary studies. We had the topographical, geotechnical, and sewage network studies done by GID services. We did a new road to the plant, to the site, which was done by Adrian Dalsor. We did some internal works, Wasco site clearing, mapping out the site boundaries. We already got approval from DCA for the site use and the construction of the wetland. Currently, we have Ecoterra doing the ESIA. It's ongoing, it's not yet completed. And we also doing the plant protocol, where we have to select the right species of heliconia for the project. This is a picture of the notice we put on the site. Let me apologize to the Guadeloupe Water Office. It was an oversight on our part. We left out your logo, but we're trying to correct that. We already contacted the sign company, and we'll correct that as soon as possible. So sorry for that. The next one, we have a picture of the site clearing. So this is the actual site where the project will be. And we have a picture of the placement on site, or overview. Next one. To the left of that, we have the ponds which were abandoned. The two ponds, you can see them to the left of the screen. These ponds are no longer in use. And the reason why we didn't put the new plants there is because when we did the studies, we found that the water table in that section was a little high during the rainy season. This slide here shows the three local types of heliconias we have, and currently we're doing the test on them to find out which one is best suited for that wetland. Thank you very much. That's the end of me.
Merci Shervon pour ton intervention. Est-ce que Amaury,
Amaury, would you like to take the microphone in order to share the short video, the short movie? Let's hope it works. I'd like to try myself. I just want to let you know that this is what's going to happen. Let's hope technology does not fail us.
De 2.000 habitantes que vierte sus residuales al río sin tratar.
Inhabitants that is sending all the wastewaters to the river. We are located nearby Havana. Could you please slow down? This is the selected site. We conducted several hydrology studies, topology studies. We figured out which plants to use, and we had been contrasting our work with that coming from other studies. We would be building a non-saturated wetland. This is an animation on how our future wetland would look like. It will be staggered into 3 stages. First one, a pre-treatment stage. We would have all the cribbing and the removal of sand. This is the initial phase. So this is the blueprint of the initial phase of the project. A second phase would be for the implementation of the storage tank, the distribution devices, and some collection facilities as well. This is the design to the tank. Those are the distribution installations. This is how they would look like. The operation station. And finally, they built wetland cells. And you can see the distribution of pipes to bring water over the different batches.
merci Amaury pour cette
So much, Amaury, for this great presentation and this great 3D movie. We always appreciate and are very impressed. I'd like to ask Manus to take the mic And I will share my screen one more time. Here we go. Can you see the PowerPoints? Magnus, can you hear me? I don't think I can hear you.
All. I guess by now everyone should be familiar with the scope of the project, of course, involving construction of pilot wetlands in all the three pilot countries. So in the case of Dominica, we had two options, La Plaine, which is a community on the southeast, and of course Cotton Hill, which is a community on the north next to our second town. So preliminary studies were done for both sites by a local consultant, CARIBSAN Inc., including various geotechnical, soil, and hydrogeological studies. But ultimately, only La Plaine was included for actual construction activities. So in the photograph, you will see an apartment building completed in after Hurricane Maria by the government, which houses just under 200 people. The present wastewater system there is very ineffective, and the intention of the CARIBSAN project would be to bypass that wastewater treatment system and have all the waste go to our new constructed wetland site, which will be located across the street in close proximity to the apartments. Next slide. Okay, so in the photograph on the left, again, you will see the location of the apartments and the proposed site, as I mentioned, on the opposite side of the highway. And you could also see the proposed site, which presently is a field of bananas. During the first phase of CARIBSAN, there were various monitoring activities done for the wastewater to do characterization of the wastewater, and of course to help with sizing of the wetland. During those studies or that wastewater characterization process, we did manual sampling of the effluent. However, subsequent to that, under the CARIBSAN project, we were able to receive an auto sampler, which assist us with doing sampling in the future. Of course, design of the wetlands and preparation of an estimate was also done as part of phase one by a foreign consultant, but also with assistance of the WASCO. We also did a lot of project sensitization through various social media posts. We did radio programs. We had Water Week, in which we did features on the CARIBSAN project. And of course, there was a special video which was prepared on the sampling process, and that was done by a special CARIBSAN communications expert, as well as our own WASCO PRO, Mrs. Seja. Next slide. Okay, so in terms of preparation for phase two, as was mentioned in the previous presentation, there were two visits. One of them was in November 2024 by the ODE, and it was also accompanied by representatives from the Agence Française de Développement. During that visit, there was a visit at the La Plaine apartments to basically see the situation on the ground in terms of the present wastewater system, its location, and also the location of the proposed plant. There was also a visit with DOWASCO, or a meeting at our headquarters to discuss the procurement of construction services for phase two. Of course, during that visit, we also had representatives from the Environmental Health Department and the Forestry Division. And unfortunately, the Planning Division was not able to attend. Next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so of course, we have made quite a bit of progress, but there were a few constraints. We started the land acquisition process on the phase one. Approximately 928 square meters of land was surveyed and acquired by the government for the project. The next phase is negotiation with the landowner. However, they required that before that could be concluded, we would need to do the environmental and social impact assessment, which is also something that is required by the CARIBSAN project. So the ESIA is to be funded by the ODE Martinique. We have already sent out for proposals based on terms of reference that were prepared by DOASCO and the ODE. We invited 4 consultants to submit proposals, and the deadline was yesterday. And I can report that we did in fact receive 2 proposals by the deadline yesterday. So it's our intention to complete that evaluation very shortly and be able to award a contract and commence the work on the ESIA. And of course, the expected duration based on the schedules is about 2 months to complete that study. So basically, that was just a synopsis of what we have accomplished so far through phase 1 and so far on the phase 2 preparatory activities. And we look forward to really completing the pending activities very soon and look forward to a successful implementation of the construction phase of the project. Thank you.
Merci Magnus. Je pense qu'on partage tous ton.
Thank you, Magnus. I think we all share your desire to go to the operational phase of the work. So I received your email yesterday. So thank you. And now this is the time of questions and answers. So do you have any, in the audience, do you have any questions about the 3 sites, about the project, about the works? So it's a time, an exchange time. So please raise your hand. So please introduce yourself when you take the floor. So don't be timid. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. I know you're not shy in life. I know all of you. So please raise your hand. If you no questions, okay. So no question. So everything is clear. So there's a message. No, it's someone leaving. So if there's no questions, if everything is clear technically, I think that we communicate a lot with you by email. So I think you have the knowledge of the different technical steps. And I don't know, well, I won't insist if there's no questions. We will now have the presentation of Ignatius Jean. So Ignatius, if you want to open your mic, switch on your mic and your camera. You were not in the protocol speech, but you're the cornerstone of this project, your facilitator, without whom the project wouldn't be what it is right now. So Ignatius, can you see us? Can you see us? Ok.
Oui, on te voit et voilà, je te mets ta présentation.
Right. Good morning, everyone, and it gives me great pleasure to join. I think my lighting is bad. Let me fix that. It gives me great pleasure to join you at this launch of this very important project in the region, CARIBSAN, and I think it is known widely not only in the Caribbean region, but as well in other parts of the world now, because we have been doing a lot of promotion of constructed wetlands using this nature-based solution. Just for those who do not know about CAWASA, we are a regional association of 12 water utilities in the Caribbean region, but we do have very close associations with other utilities in the countries that are not members of CAWASA, as well as with the Caribbean Water and Wastewater Association, a very important partner of ours. Our products and services include, as we are doing now, to do the networking and collaboration, offering these services to our member utilities and helping to forge technical cooperation within the region and outside of the region. We help with training and employee development, in advising our utilities on policy and other legislative matters, and helping the utilities as well, trying to keep, has to be a repository of a lot of information that is required by utilities for decision making. And now we have been encouraging them to do the benchmarking. And of course, finding projects like these, as we are doing now. And of course, importantly, the certification of the operators in our utilities. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Slow. Yeah, so that's just a listing of our members. We start from Antigua and all the way coming down the chain of islands and the Turks and Caicos. That's just to give you a synopsis of who we are. Next slide, please. Yeah, so essentially with the phase 2 of the CARIBSAN project, that's the work package 3, we will be responsible for helping with the coordination and training within Dominica and St. Lucia in particular. And that will include, from a coordination perspective, interdepartmental coordination, the services, ensuring the linkages with the various agencies and partners, helping with the coordination and the reporting and monitoring of the execution of the projects. It is intended that in St. Lucia, we should have a CARIBSAN will hire, as part of the project, to have a consultant engineer who will be resident within CAWASA to help with monitoring the implementation of the project, so that sort of a check consultant to see that things are going properly and to be able to help with getting all the information and documenting the whole process. So this person will be resident within the CAWASA office and will be working with WASCO, under WASCO, and will have to travel from time to time to Dominica to see what is happening, as well as in St. Lucia. Of course, following up with the various agencies for approvals and coordinating the follow-up on the environmental impact studies. I think, as Dominica has indicated, they have started the process. St. Lucia too has started a process, and I think has had approval in principle. I think it requires for them now, the next stage is to be getting the terms of reference and the approval of the consultants who would conduct the environmental impact assessments. They would have to forward that to the Development Control Authority for consideration. Of course, we also help with the Water Office in Martinique in coordinating the meetings of the steering committee, the COPIL, where we meet on I think it's a quarterly basis, so that we can update on what is happening with the execution of the project, finding challenges, the funding sources, etc., and budgets are being managed properly. Thank you. Next slide, please. Well, that's just a photo showing some of the training sessions that we had in phase one, and which we hope, I think we have built quite a bit of capacity within the countries, including not only the technical staff of the water utilities, such as the INRH, WASCO, and the WASCO, but we also strategically included technical people from the ministries of agriculture, the agronomists who would be producing the planting material, heliconias, and other planting material. We also included the people within the development control authorities, the physical planners, and some people involved with the environmental health departments in those countries, so that it's an integrated approach where we have as many of the players on board. And we are hoping that during the process of the implementation of the project, the construction of the wetlands, that as part of the communications and sensitization, that we will be able to sensitize other partners, so particularly people involved in the construction sector, and some of the designers, that they could know that this is a sustainable system that can be used in new residential developments. Next slide, please. As far as capacity building is concerned, that is the focal point for CAWASA, is usually on helping to build capacity. So we will be collaborating with the INRA, with Pascal and his team, particularly for training and developing the training programs for the various partners who will be involved in the program. And that's on the work package, still on the work package 3. Sorry, I was trying to change the slide myself. And then we will be, of course, dealing with the assisting as well with the communications part to help raising public awareness. And I think one of the important ones that we must do, and I want to recognize the presence of the ambassador for France in the OECS and for Barbados, that we will be able to arrange a field visit once the groundbreaking will take place to the site in St. Lucia as well as in Dominica, along with some other partners and government officials to visit those sites. I think, and then as well with arranging the sort of community consultations so that there is awareness of the project and what it is going to serve, how it is going to serve us in creating a sustainable environment and helping to clean up some of these spaces where we have this pollution that is taking place. I think that's it. Next slide, please. Yes, and I just thought I would steal an opportunity to mention that CAWASA's 8th Water Operators Conference is taking place in St. Vincent, June 25th to the 27th, and at which place we also will be sharing the knowledge among our water utility operators and partners who will be joining the conference. Thank you very much.
Ok, merci Ignatius pour ta présentation. Est-ce que Pascal, en tant que copilote du World Package 3, tu veux...
Presentation, Pascal, as a co-pilot of World Package 3, would you like to bring a complement to the role you will play? The role of INRAE is to support CAWASA on these training questions on a certain task. Maybe we will do more than supporting, but for me, it's very important to have CAWASA, this recognized organization in the Caribbean, to play this role in the future years, in the years to come, to disseminate this knowledge. Because here at the INRAE, we have an important role in the network, but we cannot be everywhere in the world. So we have to have high-level relays, and the CAWASA is one of these relays. So this is a hand-in-hand collaboration so that CAWASA can work fully in the region. All right, thank you for this specification. Are there any questions at this stage about the work package number 3? So please do not hesitate to take the floor. Colleagues, you are not very talkative today, or maybe it's very clear. Well, if there are no questions, I will ask my colleague Mathilde Almond Mariette. Oh, well, a question.
Il faut parler près du micro, hein, parce que ça résonne beaucoup.
Sí, tenemos una pregunta sobre este paquete de las particularidades de Cuba.
Allons-y.
It is from Cuba related to this package. We have several expectations, and they've always been clear. We want to design our treatment systems ourselves. We want to build it with your help, with your assistance. So these are more specific trainings concerning the design, concerning the way of building the facilities. However, we want to be able to replicate the wetlands, to be able to build wetlands all over Cuba. And in that regard, there are certain specificities concerning the design training for the very specific case of Cuba. And we have some other proposals that we would like to share. We've received some training on the first phase of CARIBSAN 1, and we want to be able to keep receiving training on the second phase and all across Cuba, because we want to share knowledge. It's not only about building just one wetland, one pilot. We want to be able to replicate them all across our territory and the Caribbean. And I think that's the working line that we want to stick to. On the second stage, we want to be able to present conceptual ideas. And more than conceptual ideas, we want to present advanced ideas on the designing of those wetlands. So we have engineers at Cuban universities already figuring out how to keep working with these feasible systems, but we want to take this to the next level, and we want to work not only in Bogoloti, the district that's going to hold the project, the pilot, but to extend this elsewhere in our territory. That's why training plays a crucial role. So we want this that I'm saying expressed in the written communication. Also awareness. Awareness is important. We want to share with you ideas that we've been working with. We've been working with the authorities, with engineers that are expert on water issues. We've been working with the universities, but on the second phase, we're going to work together and closer with the communities and with children at schools. We want to kick off this effort from a very early age amongst our population. So these are ideas we've got. So now the question is, how would this be reflected on the plan for the second phase of CARIBSAN 2?
Je peux répondre, c'est que sur
Ok,
le...
merci pour
Ah.
ton intervention.
So thank you for your intervention, Amaury. I won't I won't take the risk to answer all the questions, but maybe we can talk about the training, the theme of training. So within the market of conception of design and works assistance, there is an integrated part. Yes, I want to answer. So in the request for proposal, so in the terms of reference, there is the design bureau that will be chosen will have to train the local company to the design and operation of the works. I don't know if I was clear enough, but it's planned in the design market. We call that the design market and supervision of works. And this process was also thought to meet your needs, to meet your needs for Cuba, because yes, we know that you want to have the lead on your works, and you wanted to receive this engineering knowledge in order to deploy this autonomously. So I agree, Amaury, for your about your comment. And your second question about awareness of the population, maybe it will be answered by the next word package, and there will be communication plans in each country, and you can suggest specific communication plans. So if so, now I will give the floor to Mrs. Edmond Mariette. Can you hear me? So if you can hear me, I think that everyone can hear me. So yes, there is still one question. So there is a raised hand in Cuba.
La otra pregunta también que teníamos, siempre hablamos en la primera etapa que para esta segunda etapa teníamos previsto en Cuba construir un prototipo piloto también, una planta piloto para desarrollar investigaciones en la CUJAI.
Plant during this second phase of the project. I wonder if we're sticking to the plan, to the initial plan. This second phase of the program is still envisioning to have the construction of this pilot plant in Cuba.
Tu as la question, Gaël, ou pas?
I don't know if it's me through the pilots. It's about the pilot project. Thank you, Pascal. When the research pilots that was projected for the training center, is that the question? Yes. Well, now we have it in the program. Oh, I'm sorry, I hear someone talking. Someone's mic is on. The interpreter cannot hear. So the pilot project, which is the pilot station, for the time being, it is listed in the program. What we need to develop, it's a mini project within a project. We need to work together on that front. It will also depend on the funds available. This is typically the work that we are doing now in order to see what can be financed or not. But in theory, it is included in the project, and the decision will be taken at later stages. I think you heard the translation? Yeah, thank you so much. Mathilde, the floor is yours. There you go. So, good morning, everyone. I am Chief of the Communication of the Bureau of Water in Martinique. That we have exchanged, I would like to add some communication elements because they're very important in order to convey some message and keep you updated of the work, of the ongoing work on the ongoing projects. Gael has mentioned that we have already two important points in the launching of the second phase of the project. The first one is the redesign of the CARIBSAN graphic charter with some adjustments and amendments, and behind this, to relaunch of the CARIBSAT website, currently inaccessible. We have a technical problem that we faced during the passover from the water office to the OEO. So there are some technical aspects that we are finalizing. We will be communicating with you as soon as the site is up and running. And then Gael has spoken about the communication plan, which will be our roadmap for this project. Um, and it will be adapted in each one of the countries. So it is with the partner countries um, that this communication project plan will be shared, and it will be also related to the reality of each and every country. The contracting a service provider with the upgrade of the internet or the social media content, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Um, Mathilde, could you please slow down for the translation? Thank you. Yeah, I know I'm going too fast. I will try to be dynamic. So, do you want me to stop or shall I continue? Yeah, you can continue, but please go slower. Okay, noted. So CARIBSAN has already different social media profiles, Facebook and YouTube. We do not have an account on Instagram and LinkedIn, but it will be done as soon as we relaunch the internet or our website, because those are our communication material, our communication support. And the uh, we will be supported to the establishment of the newsletter, which will be a great communication tool, especially when we go to a visual phase and when we go into the construction, so we can see the progress. It's very interesting to present it, and all the other ways of communication that we will have and we will need for the project, whether for forums or different manifestations. We also have the press relations that are fundamental because it will allow us to communicate on what we are doing, whether in the countries, partner countries, or at the international level on a global landscape, and also the event planning, because we have the regional conference that we need to organize in order to meet for the events, the awareness campaigns. But as I told you, there is a problem to adapt all these elements to the different contexts, especially on the international context. We spoke about it in order to make sure that our international promotion is um, up and running. and what are the elements of CARIBSAN to be added to this project. So this is my global presentation regarding the communication. I put some indicators that we have communicated to Interact in order to give you an idea of what our indicators are in order, or we think that we can do more. However, we have set up these indicators as because we judge them very important. So 2 press articles published, 4 TV or radio reports aired, 1,000 website visitors, 2 promotional actions and public presentation events attended by social media followers, and 50 participants in regional conference. For me, I hope I was a bit slower and everyone was able to understand. Thank you so much, Mathilde. Do you have some questions or any contribution, knowing that we can go more in details during some specific sessions? I know that some people are communication managers. I saw 2 or 3 who have been connected and who are communication managers. Um, okay, no one wants to ask questions or contribute. Very well, I will continue. Pascal, the floor is yours. You're going to talk about the work package 2. The floor is yours, Pascal. Very well. The work package 2 is dedicated to all the technical parties and research parties. If you could please go to the next slide. So the main objectives is to enable the development of NBS adapted to the context of partner countries for sustainable, uh, resilient and reliable sanitation, with in order to make sure these technologies can ensure a, a resilient and reliable sanitation. For that matter, we have 2 main tasks that would be implemented within the CARIBSAN 2. The first one is the technological and development and validation. And the second task would be the multi-criteria decision tool development that will allow to facilitate the technological development in other sites in those partner countries and within the Caribbean. Next slide, please. So on the technological part, we have 2 sub-actions. The first one will be the validation of the demo site performances that will be in each of the country, Cuba, Dominica, and St. Lucia. And the second one would be the botanical research and what are the other plants that could be locally used within the system in order to uh, create more richness in each of the countries. Next slide. When it comes to the validation of the demo site performances, it will evaluate the environmental impact, which means how was the receptive site before and after, and what have changed. And this is linked to the treatment of the wetland performance evaluation. Uh, Evaluate the systems that will be implemented by a certain follow-up that would be on the hydraulical sides and what are the different important variations that happen, but also the performances, the different performances. And here we will be focusing on a low-tech metrology that we will be developing with the partners and with the partner WP3 in the work package 3. We will do a whole session where we will establish the metrology equipment in order to make sure that in each country they will be able to do it on their own and even fix it or troubleshoot it on their own. So parts linked to the botanical research will be done in each one of the countries with the support of the Botanical Garden of Cuba, the Ministry of Agriculture of St. Lucia, and the Forest Division of the Dominican governments, and the support that Gael mentioned of the botanical research of the Martinique. So we've worked together in order to establish a testing protocol for different plants and select slowly what are the more suitable plants in order to implement them. And on these validated plants, we can go and plant them in the demonstrator site in order to create real conditions on how will they be developing in comparison with the plants that have already been tested. Next slide. When it comes to the uh, tool development, the multi-criteria tool development, we have different tasks that will be led in parallel. The first tool for the choice of a technology or the technology selection tool based on the different criteria linked to the different characteristics, linked to the also level of rejection and the the criteria of the different sites, the surface, the problems of electricity or not, the different goals. Uh, so different criteria that will allow us not only to determine the treatment that will be adapted, but also to pre-dimension these treatment and to have some uh, fine rules for the different dimensions. And in order later to add the criteria that will be linked to the robustness of the system. Are they good to keep or to get rid of? In order to make sure that the person who decides can choose and can select wisely and correctly the best appropriate way. Next slide. A second study that will be done, and it's a new one. It's linked to the urban planning. This is something that we will do with the collaboration of an urban school in each of the countries, and that will be leading us to create some um, training and workshops in order to make sure what are the questions, the urban questions for each and every country that has a different culture, whether it will create different constraints, and how can we, with these urban constraints, can we review not only the technology in itself, but how to manage this whole technology within this urban territory. And this will be linked to everything that I will be explaining in the next slide. So next slide, please. There we go. So we will be developing in parallel a tool or a geographical information system, GIS, that will be able to determine what are the different scenarios for sanitation. This is not only related to the station, but the network. Should I do one big network, different stations? So this level of details that will be given, and it will allow us to compare apples and oranges. Let us know if we will be able to include different criteria that will be taken into consideration. Of course, technical and economical criteria, but also criteria of robustness and also urban criteria. The idea is how to integrate within this tool, such as this one, different criteria in order to make sure or to help in the decision making. And this is a tool that we are developing already and has a certain phase of maturity where we will use CARIBSAN to continue to evolve in a more specific way and to adapt it in the to the Caribbean geography. It's a tool that's an open source where everyone can use and take advantage of. And here I want to say that these two aspects, the urban side and the tool development side, can be used at different levels of participants, but also more in a more shared way. We have a tool that's called Elan that will be especially dedicated to the people in the field. It's not a public tool, but we will have some participation there, and we will be able to test it on future sites that are set to create or to establish a sanitation scenario. Next slide. Well, there you go. It's the end. Thank you. Thank you. And if you have some questions, please do not hesitate to ask them. Thank you, Pascal. Do we have questions related to the presentation on the technical aspect? I think that Cuba has a question based on the noises in the room. Bonjour.
Parte del equipo cubano. Cordova from the Cuban team, and for me it is very interesting that what we hear and what our friend Pascal just explained. Thank you and greetings to you from Cuba. We wanted to share more than a question. We wanted to share with you some of the things that we've done in the university together with the company of hydraulic resources and with the whole team. Back in July, we finished 3 theses in order to adapt this and those students that you were able to hear back then, and also with a career of engineering. So, well, we got this specialization and we prepared 3 studies dedicated to the design of these plants, but the second thing was the application of this in other parts of the Havana country, and also to be able to treat wastewater, but also to be able to treat, for example, the solid waste that are also part of this situation. But one of the theses that also is addressed to the development of a tool for the selection of multi perspectives that based on the knowledge that Pascal just shared with us, and as part of the different trainings that we've had And we would like to think about this, I mean, to also share with you the tool that we have developed. It is a very simple tool so that we consider this 12 variables that are part of Pascal's presentation, and we've managed to be able to create a multi-selection system according to a group of criteria that would allow the experts to be able to define or to create a list of the preference areas according to the conditions, the current conditions of the places, etc. But this is something that we've been doing, and we of course wanted to share with you, and we will continue to work on this. And we are very happy regarding this part, last part of, analyzing the sustainable cities. We're also working on that as of the new models and also in combination with the National Business Solution, um, both for uh, trying to avoid floodings in certain areas, urban areas mainly, but also to combine this with the wastewater treatment, to have a holistic or an integral system that would allow us to manage this, uh, not only wastewater, as I was saying, but also drainage and avoid floodings in certain parts. So we wanted just to share with this with you, and we are very excited so that we can exchange information with all the community in the project. Thank you so much, and I just wanted to say this, and also we wanted to present this work. We also have talked to with all the experts and all the members of this collective of the CARIBSAN project. Thank you so much. At some point, maybe we can do it either via remotely, or we can share about the progress. But this is very important for us. Thank you so much.
Bien, lo veo muy bien. Lo que podemos hacer quizás es que, bueno, para mí hay dos temas con tus dos preguntas. Y
Uh,
de trabajo para ver con el tema del multicriter lo que
Answer in dividing my answer into parts. The way we will be able to implement or not would depend on, how do you say in Spanish? On the model that we create with the SAG. It would be worthwhile and more productive, maybe, to work together. Definitely. So we can organize a working meeting to see what you've done and see if that can be aligned with what we do here, and see if we are both looking at the same objective, because what we do is not necessarily designing. It comes down to figuring out and deciding on which would be the best solution to choose. And once we've decided on the solution we're going to choose, then we will design accordingly. And the model that we use here to design the networks and the different water treatment systems, right now there's one component that works okay, and maybe you can use it in Cuba right now. So it would be good to use it, and if you could tell us what is working okay and what isn't, because we're aiming to enhance the model in the future with CARIBSAN. However, right now it's operational. We have one operational component you can already use. Thank you so much, Pascal. Just let me tell you, the objective is the same. We're promoting and developing a system of multi-criterion analysis. So it's the same system, and we're pondering between different alternatives, and we're trying to choose the best one. After the selection process, then we will go into more detail, and we're aiming for more precision. But it's the same. We're on the same page. Here, my friend Amaury says, get ready because we are close competitors, friendly competitors, but we will deliver results for everyone.
Ok, merci pour cet échange. Bah, on aura l'occasion justement dans le forum technique d'aller plus en profondeur sur ce type de questionnement. Donc on arrive.
Thank you for this exchange, for this discussion. If there are no other questions at the end of the technical presentations and at the conclusion of our morning of opening of CARIBSAN 2, thank you for the presentation, for your participation, for all the elements provided. We still have some work to do. I will leave the floor to Michel. So, Adam, so thank you. A few words to tell you thank you. I've seen that we've stayed practically all of us until the end of this meeting, and we will go back to you, and we have a deadline in our agenda at the end of June, and it should mark the signature of all the agreements. So it will be the set of agreements. So it will be an important date for us. And the next physical meeting will be in St. Lucia for the first technical meeting. And during all this time, the administrative work and preparation will pursue. So I only have to thank you. So President Saliber, we will say thank you together. And thank you to all. So please open your camera. We will take a photo. So has everyone opened the camera? So those who were able to switch on their camera, to unmute their cameras. So so normally you should have a gallery. So do that again to see. Yes. So maybe I should stop sharing my screen as usual. I have to close this, so I will send the PowerPoint to you because I don't know how so we will how I can have several screens, but well, we will take the photo like this. So Mathilde, are you here? So, but I don't know how to have everybody on the screen. I'm not used, I'm not accustomed to this platform, so I will try.
You can put the full screen.
Ah, Esa saurait venir nous aider. Tu sais faire? Pour mettre... Ouais, mais du coup, ça oblige à mettre une slide principale. Ou alors pour full screen.
Vous pouvez vous mettre en position.
I have to put a principal slide. Are you ready? Are you ready? So please smile, ladies. So we were focused on it. So please. So Lawrence, yes. So, okay, so let's take the photo, the set of photos, so we can make the sign for those who want this little sign. So,
Je vais prendre tout le monde là. Le moment qu'il soit là.
Oui, c'est bon, c'est pas le meilleur exercice. C'est toujours mieux de faire les photos dans la vraie vie.
Exercise. It's So thank you to all. Thank you to all. Thank you. Thank you. Have a nice end of day. So have a nice day. So we stay in touch. Goodbye. Thank you for this, for your connection. Thank you to the translators. And bye-bye. See you soon. Goodbye, St. Lucia. I see the camera is still open. Goodbye, Zoe. So I was saying goodbye. So goodbye, Your Excellency the Ambassador. Thank you to have joined.